party, bash, whatever you want to call it. It's up in Manhattan. That's expensive, but you know, it's my anniversary with Sue. 6 years we've been together. I'm still staring at the prettiest little girl I've ever seen. Seriously. Now that whole town's filled with models, actress types, beautiful people. I'm still very much in love. So 6 of us decided to go on up there together. And we go to that bash and start dancing. Go round and round. Sue gets tired and says she wants to go back up to the room, lay down and have herself a little cat nap. That was about maybe 1:30 in the morning. And I was a touch bored, so I tell the boys, I say, let's take a walk on out there across the park. Central Park right across the street. We go out there and it is dark. I'll tell you what, it is dark. Author Neil LaBute has penned some of the most controversial plays in the past 20 years. However, in a personal interview in Times and Seasons Journal from January 12, 1997, LaBute revealed that the negative portrayal of many of his characters is not necessarily such a bad thing. He further insists that audiences can learn from negative behavior. The following selection will challenge some, but I hope more will learn from it. Bash. Gaggle of Saints by Neil LaBute. So, we just see the lights from the cities out across the park. We look up, that's when we sing. Both of them. LL Bean shirts on, the whole thing. 2 of them, 2 grown men going at one another, kissing on one another like something out of Clark Gable film. You know, hands all where they shouldn't be, tongues are all out. I start to feel sick. I mean, it's just nauseous. I read the scriptures, you know, I know them pretty well, and this is wrong. You know, just wrong. You hear about it. You read about it, you see it in that movie, that Superman thing. You live with it, you don't condone it for the world, but it's kind of a live and let live. But this, I figure, is flaunting it. I mean, we're in town for one night. One night, we got to witness this. 2 grown men going to one another like Romeo and Juliet. So, kiss on the cheek. One of them tears off down the trail, headed back on over towards the west side. The other starts to just walk on off, headed over towards the men's room. A big concrete building about 50 yards off. Steps down into it. And he's whistling while he goes. Just not a care in the world, just whistling. So I'm motioning for the boys. I tell them, I say, follow me, you know. Wait outside, wait for me to flush them out, and that's the plan. And I step into that men's room. And it is like stepping into another world, let me tell you what. You got graffiti all over the place. The whole place just stinks. Wet on the floor. There's a bum asleep in the corner. A couple bulbs are burnt out. And then I see it. I see our friend's legs sticking out from underneath one of the stalls. So I slip into the stall next to his, start fumbling with my belt, this and that. And sure enough, like clockwork, his hand comes up under my side of the partition. Big pink fingers wiggling up at me. In the floor. And I look down and notice he's got this gold band around his pinky. Glimmer in the light. So I put my hand in his. And a couple minutes later, we're standing in front of the mirror, sizing one another up. Name's Chet, he says. You know, I don't bat an eyelash when he moves in. Lips playing across my cheek. Tongue running across my teeth. Hand moving down towards my thigh. And then I licked him for a second. Just a second. I licked him. Then I let out a whistle. Real loud whistle too. Sent him reeling back, arms all out flailing. He looks up, sees Tim and Dave standing in the hallway. He knows this ain't going to be no good. This guy, Chet. Probably a VP up at a bank on Park Avenue, some shit like that. This grown man, he gets down on his knees, starts pleading and begging. Grown man, he even starts urinating himself. It's my first shot. Catches him right across the cheek. Sends him slamming up against the sink, all snot and blood spraying out everywhere. And suddenly, there's so many of us hitting at him and tearing on him, it's hard to find an empty spot, but I know I connected a few more times. And after a while, you feel his head, just the back of it, softening as you go. But you find a new spot and you move on. After a few minutes, I'm exhausted. Just spent. And then Tim takes a little run at it. Takes his foot and just smashes into the bridge of that man's nose. See it clear and move to the other side of his face. Wow. You're standing there in silence, watching this man who ain't moving. Might never move again. And then Dave reaches down and grabs this trash can. It's a big wire mesh thing. He holds it up over his head and he says, "Fag." I'll never forget that. Just fag. Brought that can down on the spine of that man. Heard him let out just a little whimper. Boom! And then I reached down, and I grabbed that ring right off his pinky. I told you I noticed it, didn't I? Now, next, I still can't believe this is what happened. We all start laughing. I mean, it's just so funny. You look at him laying there like that. That bum, he never even woke up. Start giggling like little schoolboys. And we run out across the park, whooping it up like war Indians. Yeah. We get on back over to the hotel. The girl said they'll be down in about 10, 15 minutes. And Tim, he's over there walking along on the curb to himself. And Dave pulls me aside. Says he wants to know something. Says he wants to know why I touched the guy. Why I let him kiss me. See, he'd been looking in. He'd seen it happen. And I didn't have an answer for him. Isn't that strange? I did have a good meal, though. I'll tell you what, you can't find them thick German sausages for breakfast anywhere but Manhattan. Middle of breakfast, I pulled out that ring. I dropped it into Sue's water glass. Happy anniversary, I said. That ring looked just right on her. It did, just a glint of gold, just a glimmer of it. So me and Sue, we decided to go on back home together. We took the train home. She sat next to me, all cuddled up, warm and protected. She fell asleep. I couldn't fall asleep. I just stared out the window, watched the lights as they danced by. Big moon grinning down at me. And then I started to whistle. I did. I can't recall what tune, but I did start to whistle. That much I remember.